What up, investors? Ken here from Dyslexic Investor, and we're going to be looking at a particular play that I did that I was a little bit too emotionally levered to. I know this happens quite a bit, so I just kind of wanted to walk through the scenario of what happened and how I got extremely lucky and I actually turned a profit on the trade. It could have gone completely sour. So the particular play that I was trying to play was a very scalpy, kind of just a swing up trade that we're looking at that took on basically Thursday or Wednesday of Wednesday afternoon. So we saw the particular trade around this 34 exponential moving average. We're going to be diving down this to a little bit more exact chart, kind of to sum up the last couple days. So just this week, it's kind of been really choppy, and especially on Wednesday we had a pretty enormous down day. And I normally, again, this is where a lot of the Ken gotta slap you across the face, throw some water in your face, whatever, of like, what are you doing? And I normally don't do a lot of scalping or trading or really slim cutting of these kind of trades due to the fact of that it moves so fast and my emotions just get the better of me sometimes. So that's why I usually work on swing trades and longer term trades like that. That being said, I wanted a little bit of action. Again, mistake. But that being said, I was following my rules of basically the 130-ish trade, depending on, again, that huge downturn that we had basically from this S&P 500 from 310 all the way down to 302. And once I started seeing the things bouncing around, I start seeing the RSI kind of stop falling. The moving average start kind of leveling off, and I bought in basically around 130. I believe the call option was the 300 SPY call expiring this Friday for around $550 a call. That being said, it kind of ran up into the end of the day. Didn't get out of it. It was just a very small profit. I thought that this would continue because if you even go down to a smaller time frame, which is another mistake that I did from Wednesday into Thursday, towards the end of the day, the squeeze was setting up. So I was hoping that this squeeze would continue through Wednesday into Thursday, and it really kind of didn't. Of course, anything can happen. We know that. And it kind of actually traded down during the morning. In particular, it gapped down quite a bit for a potential lower lows. Let's go back to the hourly side to kind of give you a better picture. So again, yeah, just continue trading downwards. Opened up. Luckily, it started getting a little bit of legs. There was a hourly squeeze, which I do like when I used to do a lot more intraday trades, was indicating for a potential pop higher. But once I start seeing the wicks kind of getting kind of above the 21, and then we saw the 5 and 8 exponential moving average crossing through the 21, I knew that I had an opportunity to get out. And we saw that the yellow squeeze went to blue, and that's when we had that really nice pop up, and I just sold into strength. And we can go look at the overall trade itself and the price movement, because again, I took off a little bit more than I could chew, and I was thinking another mistake that I did. I should have just got out the end of Wednesday for that small profit, but I thought I could make a larger return, and being a little bit greedy as anyone can probably do as of trading. Even I still do it to the date. I'm not perfect. I'm not a robot. So I got a little greedy, and I wanted to continue the trade to go higher to make a really nice profit off of it. That being said, of course, with the options being so close to expiration, which is Friday, which is right here, that theta decay was really kicking in. So I really needed the ticker or the SPY to move substantially higher for it to kind of negative out the theta decay that was happening, because I really needed it to be really high in the money. So the reason I'm just glad I bought the 300 call. And it was fairly deep in the money, or not deep in the money. It was like 2 or 3 points in the money when I bought it. again, being in the money, you're going to have a higher delta. So when the stock moves, that delta is going to reciprocate to the underlying option to kind of give you that further alpha or movement in the options pricing. If I would have bought in something lower, so if I came down to like the 303 level where I kind of bought at, and I bought, let's say, I don't know, like a two, I don't know, trying to think like a 297. So we can do kind of that comparison. We can go to the trading tab here, and there we go. So I bought the 300. So it's because we're out of it now. I just needed to get out of it. It was just a little too much stressful. So we're going to send that to the chart pattern or the chart here, and we can kind of give you the overall breakdown of what happened. Again, kind of came down here, kind of start leveling off, bought around 450-ish, or yeah, like 455, 456, a couple contracts, and then it kind of made a nice rise up, nearly $100 of profit per contract. Nice little gainer, 15, 20-ish% nearly. Thought I could get more for it. Again, then gapping down the following day, again with that very heavy momentum. And again, this options contract expiring this Friday, I was kind of doing a very dumb Wall Street Bets kind of novice trade, and I almost really paid for it. So this is why I kind of want to insinuate and let people know, like, this was really dumb. Please don't do this. Even though it worked out on my behalf, it normally doesn't. And this is the reason why. Because I did some particular, hit some lucky guardrails, in lack of a better word, to figure out to get that profit back. So I did double down, which is a negative. That's always a bad thing to do. So it kind of gapped down, going down to 386, and I was just like, oh my gosh, like this is gonna be bad. Basically, again, bought it around 550-ish. Continue to gap down. Again, this is an hourly chart for the first hour of the day. I normally don't like to do much trading the first hour of the day because it's very volatile, very emotional. Of course, that's where I was. I think I was getting somewhat sick from this, so I just kind of like put my alerts out and just waited. Then it started gapping up a little bit, and I was like, oh, interesting. So it actually got up to the initial price target where it was the previous day. So initially I was like, oh, if I can get out for a small profit, that's fine. But then I got a little bit more, like, I think, let's go back to the daily chart on the SPY. We can see here, go here to the hourly chart on this to kind of compare this. So we start seeing some again, that squeeze was kicking in, and the candles were slightly moving higher, trying to break above the 21. So the goals that I put in place, I was like, at around 12:30, 1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time to 2 o'clock, if this thing doesn't start breaking above the 21, I'm just have to get out for that very small profit. Then things start breaking out. The 5 and 8 start coming really close to the 21. I was like, oh, this is great. With the squeeze indication down here as well, which was also fantastic. And there was just a lot of volume coming in for just the SPY, just everyone just kind of doing air quotes, buying the dip. And then we got that crossover. It hit my initial target. I think I put it, sold some at like 715. At the options at 715, and then again at like around 750. So net, I'm extremely lucky. I could have just cut the loss, or even could have taken that small profit at the beginning of the day, but I just wanted to give myself some stress, get a couple more gray hairs, and just not be able to get the normally the relaxed, simple trading that I normally do, of just getting into this options contract way too large over my head, thinking that my initial targeting wasn't working out, and then I just changed the thesis, which is not a really good thing in my experience, where like if you're thinking about just trading for the day and then you just turn that into, oh, let me just roll it to the next day, or let me just think about this the other way of maybe let's work it out to get it out in a week, or let me just buy more here on the dip. this is, again, like, even overnight I had some alerts out, and I was like, oh my god, SPY is going to be below 300. Like, I remember, like, I wasn't awake at 3 o'clock, but I got that alert with the futures being down substantially. I was like, oh, this better start coming back. And then I started seeing these green candles when I woke up, and I was like, okay, great. But that being said, I just want to be super mindful of, like, this was a complete idiotic move on my behalf. Potentially could have lost thousands of dollars, but in the sense, it turned out to be a fairly good trade. I'm just glad I got out of it unscathed, but what was scathed was the lesson, again, grained in my head of, like, WTF, what are you doing? What were you thinking? Again, holding very short-term options, like, I was too much in the mindset of just scalping, and I made a mistake, but that mistake luckily turned out to be okay. So kind of wanted to make that video to kind of disclose that. Then we can kind of look at some other things on the S&P 500. So, like, for example, if I bought something that was, like, further out of the money, so I've bought, like, the 310 call, so we can kind of look at that history there and how that the theta decay would have been affected on that. So again, if I would have bought around the same price, it would have been around 82 cents. Yes, it's cheaper. Again, I paid a premium. I paid nearly $5.50 to 500 or 500. So yeah, $550 to $565 for my calls, and then this one was only $80. Okay, there's a huge difference in that. Yes, it's cheaper without a doubt, but you're not getting that premium of being in the money. So in particular, if you do want to day trade, you need to be buying those deeper in the money calls. If you want to go, that's long. If you want to go short, you got to buy the deep in the money puts, because you want the ones with the higher delta. So if this case would have came out, I would have not have been. I could have barely just breaking even, if that, with this call here. Getting if I literally got out at the extreme high, even if I even got the chance to get filled in that. Of course, this is going to be gapping down even lower potentially today. Again, with the theta decay kicking in of the option expiring today, it's just going to be very unlikely for this to even get back. If I bought deep out of the money calls like a 310, so this even spirals to be even worse once you start going down the strike prices. So that was the 310. Let's just do the 315. Oops. Do here. Oh. Why is this not working? There we go. Boop. All right. So this one, of course, was even worse. So if you bought around the same price time, you paid 21 to 25 cents, and of course you would have never really gotten back to that, because again, that theta decay really kicked in and didn't even give you the chance to particular trade that. So be very mindful of that. Be super careful. Like, again, I was extremely lucky that I had some sense of knowing what I was doing and having some rules in place. Even though I broke majority of the major ones, I was still lucky and fortunate enough to come out on top on this particular trade. And again, it was a lesson learned. I wanted to share it with you guys here. If you have any comments, questions, please leave them down below. I know there's a lot of new options traders and just traders and investors here overall, even due to this overall pandemic and market correction. Just be mindful, be careful out there. Do not overextend. That's rule number one. And of course, rule number one really is don't lose money. And yeah, guys, for this particular market, we're going to be basically just kind of trading sideways potentially. Again, next week's going to be somewhat light due to some volume potentially, with a lot of people taking time off, breaks. It's going to be the 4th of July weekend. It's considered a short week because close of the markets, I believe, is on Friday. So just be mindful of that. I think nothing too crazy is going to happen, potentially just trading sideways. I did read about that the Russell's having a reconstitution, which is their kind of just rolling and revising their share price, so we could see some volatility in the Russell, so just be mindful of that in the next 2 to 3 days. Alright guys, don't forget to check out the fantastic Discord we have. Again, we do a lot of great stuff there. We talk, share trade ideas, just talk shop about stocks, investing, all kinds of things, share ideas, share charts, news articles. Of course, we got some of the best memes on the internet there, some fantastic stuff like that. Also have a Patreon page if you're interested in directly supporting the channel and getting some of the better insights that I see in the market. And then as well, if you're interested in trading, I have an affiliate link down below for Tastyworks, which I use for my options trading. Again, guys, thank you so much for watching. This is Ken from the Dyslexic Investor, and I'll catch you guys on the flip side. Peace.